Welcome to Behind the Catch Fence. I'm David Hoffman. I'm your host and your creator of the podcast Behind the Catch Fence. And you'll probably hear a couple different things go by. Practice and qualifying for Indy Lights has gotten done today. For IndyCar, practice 1 just got done. And hopefully there isn't any fire going on because we got ambulances honking, whatever else. But a lot to get to, and let's get rolling into it. After practice 1, let's take a look at the results. Romain Grosjean wound up P1, followed by his teammate Colton Herta, Will Power 3rd, Simon Pagenaud 4th, Graham Rahal 5th, Alexander Rossi 6th, Jack Harvey 7th, Scott McLaughlin 8th, Rinus VeeKay 9th, and the rookie David Malukas wound up in 10th. Now, speaking of the rookies, I was able to talk to 2 of them, including Tatiana Calderon and also David Malukas, and they shared their thoughts on what the nerves are, how they're feeling going into their first ever IndyCar weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you only have like 2-3 days in the car. There are people complaining for one test day, but they've been here for a few seasons, so I'm sure it's going to be a steep learning curve, but I have really good people around me. I'm very thankful with AJ Foyt Racing and with Rocket for this fantastic opportunity, and we'll see where we're at today and work our way up.
Well, yeah, so definitely excited, but I'm not gonna lie, we're definitely nervous. It's been a dream of mine since I was a kid. We're finally in IndyCar, going against these big names. They've been here for such a long time, and they have a lot of experience. And I'm coming in here with just a few test days, and now we're here for the first race in St. Petersburg. So the nerves are definitely there, but the team that I have really helped to give the aroma, the everything, the way the chemistry, the teams, everything, how it's been working. It's helped me so much to just stay calm. They make me feel like I'm family there, and it's just another car at the end of the day. So I'm excited to see how it's going to go, but I was expecting to be actually a little bit more nervous than I am. So I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, I don't know. But I guess I'm just so excited to finally be racing again. It felt like it's been a long time.
And I got to be honest, I've been really impressed with the way David Malukas has handled himself so far. I mean, obviously one practice session, you're not going to judge a driver on if they did really well in the first practice of the season or not. But I just feel like with Malukas, I remember he was on that one karting show for a lot of years. I remember randomly watching that. I was like, this kid's good. Who knew he'd wind up in IndyCar? So for Malukas, he has a lot to learn, but I feel like, with a guy like Takuma Sato behind him, as a teammate and a running mate, it's going to really, really pay dividends, especially towards the latter part of the season. Now, of course, 2 of the bigger name drivers in the sport are finally on the same team. And of course, we're talking about the Meyer-Shank boys and Simon Pagenaud and Helio Castroneves. Now, for those 2, I was able to talk to them, and they mentioned just the camaraderie between the 2 of them and just how they're able to feed off each other. So take a look.
Helio is an interesting character. I mean, we have very similar personalities, but he's a level ahead in terms of he brings such good atmosphere within a team. He's able to make a bad day becomes a good day just because of his behavior and his attitude. It's phenomenal. Being around him just gives you joy, and it's quite enjoyable to be around him. And I think it's creating a good momentum within the team. So I think he's gonna bring that to the team, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And then I'm going to bring my parts after that.
Well, every time you have someone that you work in the past, understand teamwork, understand what we need to be doing to develop not only the team but also push each other. It's always good, and that's what he brings. He never had a break like I had, and what happened is it's just a momentum for him to continue what we left over. And I understanding his communication, understanding his how he drives and things like that helps so much. And no, it's great. It's great that that's what we need, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I also had to ask Helio about some of the road and street course issues that they had last year. His best finish was 9th in Nashville, and outside of that, it just wasn't pretty whatsoever. So here are his thoughts on the program moving forward with Meyer-Shank Racing on those road and street circuits.
Several things. Timing was important to get it. Even when you're driving with sports car for 3 years, when you go back, it takes a little to understand the communication, the whole little details, what you like. Cars not the same, always a little bit different. However, even the seat, I was still working on the seat. So especially when you become older, you're like, okay, I know what I need. This is not what I was having. However, with testing and things like that, we were able to get much closer, and that's great. So really, really excited to be able to find that direction and hopefully for good things.
Now today in the bullpen seemed to be like a theme of teammates, so I was also able to catch up with both Aero McLaren SP drivers in Pato O'Ward and Felix Rosenqvist. Now starting off with Felix Rosenqvist, he had an average finish of like 16.4 last year, which is nowhere near the standard, especially when his teammate Pato O'Ward is over there finishing third in points, notched a couple wins. So for Felix, the pressure's on. How's he going to do in this upcoming season, especially with Pato O'Ward excelling so much better? So I asked Felix just how he's feeling about the year, and he seemed very confident. Take a look.
No, I feel good, man. It's definitely a cool place to start the season. It's kind of like normal, as it should be. Good weather. I feel pretty relaxed, to be honest. I feel like I definitely prepared well. No real reason to worry about anything. Just gonna take it as it comes. But I'm definitely really excited to just see where we stand in practice today. I think it's gonna, even if it's just practice, it's the first time we're all on track together with the same conditions, the same tires, the same fuel or whatever. It's gonna be interesting to see for sure where we stand. So, but yeah, overall, way more confident than last year. So it's good.
Now on the flip side, we asked Pato O'Ward just coming into this weekend, because they've had very little testing. Most of these drivers are coming out of the gates with only one true test session, and that was back in Sebring a couple weeks ago. So the big question is, how are they going to do this weekend, especially with the fact that they're still trying to get back to the basics and trying to figure out everything again, most of these guys. So take a look.
I think it's what makes it really tough is that we're trying to develop, right? It's not a new car, but anything you find, little bits and pieces that you find here, maybe not so much to make the car faster, but to make it more consistent, to make it better over a course of a race. It's hard to find it in just simulation land. You need to test things out, and we're very limited to that right now. The simulators sometimes correlate well, but sometimes they don't correlate at all. So it's hard to always believe that whatever everything in the computer says it's going to work. You got to go out and test it. This is the first weekend that we have to kind of see what a race weekend is going to be like this year, with maybe new things or coming back with the same things that we've had last year with a little bit of tweaks. So we'll see, man. I really don't know what to expect.
Now finishing up the video, let's go with a couple observations. Now number one, the Herta and Romain Grosjean battle at Andretti Autosport is going to be electric. Obviously we're just judging off of one practice session. They both are P1 and P2, but I just feel like for Herta, he hasn't really had, obviously Rossi has had his fair share of success and struggles, but I feel like with Grosjean, he's coming in and has a lot of fire, no pun intended. He's got a lot of fire underneath him. He's ready to go, and I feel like especially the way he ran last year with Delcoin Racing, it's gonna be a dogfight between the two. And I think as the season kind of progresses, we're gonna really see just how much that those two are really able to push each other in a positive way. Now number two, Will Power, he is destined to get back on his feet and get back to a title contention. I know earlier this week, Power had mentioned just how much he's done more strength training and how much that's really helped. And I think obviously P3 on the score chart, for first practice for Power, he's won 9 poles here. Of course he's going to be fast, but I think this is a make or break year for Will Power because of the fact that he's had great runs, great seasons. Last season he had his worst average finish. It was around the 12th place position all year long with average finish. But for Power, I feel like the father time's starting to knock just a little bit. And I think for him, he realizes that, and he knew he had to get back to the strength training and doing a lot more. So I feel like at the end of the day, for Will, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how it plays out the rest of the year. And then a final observation that I noticed today is Jimmie Johnson, he's been really, really improving, but there's still a lot of fine-tuning left. Now for Jimmie, it's a tough thing because you want to see the 7-time NASCAR Cup champion have a little bit of success, especially coming into something so openly being so gracious with everything and just really just going with the flow, no matter what was going on. And I think, golf cart, who knows who that is, but for Jimmie, like, we don't know how long Chip Ganassi's going to want to, fuel this project before he wants to bring in someone else. And right now, this is Jimmie's second and final year, and I think, Chip is going to be looking for a guy that, looking for major strides. And I know Jimmie had even mentioned before how this is not, the end of the season last year is how they thought that they would start last year. And I feel like for Jimmie, if he's able to really get substantial amount of just like improvement with that, and I feel like what it's going to take for him to be able to sign a contract extension with Chip Ganassi is to be able to, do really well on the ovals, get a top 10, and run around P15-ish, or a little bit better to really show that he's improved. And even in practice one, it even showed out a lot because of the fact that, he knocked off over a second on his time from practice one last year to this season, which is already a great start. But I still feel like, we're about to get run over by a tarp. But for Jimmie, we really hope that he's able to thrive as the season goes on. I think it'll be interesting, to see, especially with him saying, making sure he doesn't get spooked. When street circuits are, really changing over the course of a weekend. I think it'll be really interesting to see how he's able to adapt. And we'll see on qualifying day, which is tomorrow, and Sunday, how it winds up. Now, I apologize for the not as good audio. My interesting self decided to forget the dongle, little dongle that plugs in, to use our Rode Wireless Go mics, which are also not sponsored, but really cool. Great audio. So shout out to the one camera or photographer that helped lend me a dongle that he happened to have in his endless camera bag of stuff. Thankful for him that I was able to use that for the bullpen. So shout out to him. I don't know his name. I'll find it out by the end of the week. But thank you guys for tuning in. There will be better audio tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great week.